It's about them time. In a minute. Guys, how are you? I have missed you. It's long since I did a sit down. So I decided on today's vlog we are going to have a sit down and update you guys on all matters talk. The last time I did stock video ilikuwa about 1 year ago with my friend Vita. She's not around unfortunately, but in case I get questions from this, maybe I can convince her to come over and we can answer questions that arise from the video. But today we are going to talk about stocks, probably give you an update of my portfolio and how it's been like since I started investing in stocks, as well as answer some of the questions that I got from the last video that we did with Vita. I have listed, or rather made some notes, so in case you see me checking on this side, just know I have my notes ready to give you a comprehensive stocks video. In case you're new here, my name is Maureen Nkata. I do lifestyle videos, but once in a while I do such videos because I love helping where I can. So topics like stocks, where to get stuff, I really like doing those. But before we begin, please note I'm not a financial advisor. All the content that I'm about to share is in regards to my stock investment journey, purely for education purposes. So if you think you can get something from it, some tips, some lessons, continue watching, but I'm not a financial advisor. Okay, now that that's out of the way, we can now start with the first topic, which is how to get into the whole stock market, like how to be an investor, how to buy and sell shares. I feel like it's important to mention you need to know what type of an investor you want to be. We mentioned this in the last stocks video, but I feel it's important I mention it again. So there are two types of investors, kuna speculative and kuna value investor. So you have to know which one you want to be. So for a speculative investor, let's say a company called Thrive is in the market and its prices are today 23 bob, and maybe next week people are gauging it to have a price increase of, let's say, 29. So a speculative buyer will immediately buy the 23 worth shares, which is a risk because you're not certain that your next week it will be 29. So he or she will buy the stocks at 23 today and hope that the rewards will be high, that is 29 next week. From this you can see the investment period is short. So for speculative buyers or speculative investors, they have high risk tolerance and hope for high rewards and are short-term investors. I hope that makes sense. And also, if you feel like that explanation does not make sense, please feel free to give your thoughts kwa comments. Onto the value investor. The value investor is like someone like Warren Buffett. I said this the last vlog. So for these ones, they take their time. Let's say the value is 23 still, so the value investor will buy at 23 but not at it to sell it next week at 29 bob. Itakuja 29 bob, he still doesn't sell it. Ikikuja at 34 bob, he still doesn't sell it. Like, he gives the shares time for them to grow and grow and grow. He or she might decide to sell the shares, say 5 years later or 10 years later. The value investor does not really buy to sell instantly. He or she will give time for the shares to grow and grow and grow, but you need patience for this. So for value investor, it's like they buy and stock up a lot of stocks. Stock up a lot of stocks. I hope you guys are understanding. Like, they will get a lot of stocks, equal like ni a big investment for them, and then sell them like years later. In my last stocks vlog, I think I said I want to be a speculative investor, but at the moment I don't feel like I am one, because I'm not one to keep checking on the value, if it has increased, if it has reduced. Most times I look at the values to see if I'm buying, because I want to stock up a lot of stocks and then sell them maybe in the future kabisa. So I feel like I'm more of a value investor as opposed to a speculative investor. But both of them are okay. Both of them, you make profit from it. So from those two examples, I hope you can choose which type of an investor you'd like to be. Both of them have their advantages and disadvantages, I feel like. So it's for you to choose which one you'd like. So after you've chosen which type of an investor you'd like to be, the next plan is to choose which brokerage firm you'd like to operate with. And there are so many. What I'd advise is, please ensure that it is listed in the NSE. So I'll show you a screenshot here or a clip to show you like some of the listed NSE brokerage firm that you can choose from. I'd advise one to go physically there when you're starting out, and then kama the brokerage firm offers online services, you can be buying and selling online. That's what I do. But once in a while I pop up for my brokerage firm, ask for advice, like buy there physically instead of doing it online. But yeah, please check if it's listed kwa NSE, and then after that you can go physically, get advice on which shares to buy, and also look at their rates, because they charge you rates when you're buying or when you're selling. Some of them are 2%, some of them are 2.4%. Yeah, so that's homework for you, to look at the listed NSE brokerage firm and choose which one you'd like, kulingana na rates, kulingana na services they offer, if they have physical. I feel like all of them have physical offices. Yeah, so we've already chosen which investor we want to be. We've chosen the brokerage firm we want. The next thing are the documents or things that you'd need to start buying. So these ones I'm going to read off my notes. The first thing is money. You need around 5k and above to start buying. And then you need a CDSC account. A CDSC account, the CDSC form will be provided by the brokerage firm so that you can fill it and have a CDSC account. You also will be provided with a form to like register with the brokerage firm that you'll choose. And then you need passport photos for your next of kin and yours, and also you need your ID or passport. You need your bank statement, stamped bank statement. But all this utaambiwa once you are at the brokerage firm. So we've said after you've identified the brokerage firm, you'll go and visit them physically, ndio wa kuadvise. So all this you'll be told when you get there, but for information purposes, those are the items that you will need. But in case nimesahau yoyote, please feel free to add for comment. And then now let's talk about buying. So for buying, I feel like as much as when you value investor, you need to look at the stats, like how the shares are performing, so that uko informed on which shares to buy. And from our last vlog, I'll link the vlog somewhere kwa screen, we mentioned the apps we use for monitoring the stocks performance. So at the moment I am using my stocks. It's available on Android, and Vita at the time was using NSE for iPhone users. So whenever I have like free money somewhere, I usually check up on shares, niangalie zenye ziko, like the prices. But also from ata news, Google, you can check like how shares are performing for different companies, and then from that you can choose like when to buy. Like I knew wakati wa elections, the prices of shares will be affected. Most of them went down, but I feel like they're coming up. So kitu kama hiyo, yani uko informed. And that's how you buy stocks here in Kenya. In case I've missed something or you have any questions, feel free to ask again. Now I'll share my stock portfolio, like a history of how I've built it to 5-figure. I started investing in November 2020, and I started with only 10,000 shillings. Imagine 10,000 shillings. So that is how low you can start. With even 5k you can start. I love stocks kwa sababu it's so easy as opposed to other investments. I feel like say vitu kama real estate naonanga like you need a good amount of cash, but for stocks inakusaidia to build up and then you can now own real estate. I hope I'm making sense. But yeah, in 2020 I had 10k. We actually met for lunch, I think, with Vita, and she mentioned she's interested in getting into stocks. At that time hata sikuwa najua mambo na investing. I had just read Rich Dad Poor Dad. That is the book that prompted me into investing. Yeah, ameongelea mostly about real estate, but as I've mentioned, real estate is a bit pricey for me at the moment, so that's why I opted for stocks. So Vita mentioned about stocks and I got curious, so I checked it out and asked her for guidance, like what I am doing right now, and she guided me into buying. I bought with, as I've said, 10,000 shillings, and I think I bought for COP and Absa Bank. Yeah. And then later on, early 2021, I bought for EABL, and at the time I think they were going for 155 Kenya shillings, so I bought 100 of them. By the way, I haven't mentioned, you have to buy 100 and above shares. For each company you can't buy less than 100 shares. In the middle of that year, 2021, is when I tried selling. I wanted to know, like, how does someone sell shares? Like, what's the process? Is it long? Will I ever get my money? Ama nitashindanga tu buy and not sell. So at that time, COP was really doing well. Like, their prices were high. I had bought, let me be sure, I think I had bought the COP shares at 11 bob and they were at 13. But siko sure, let me check real quick. Quantity ilikuwa 500, the pricing was 11.65 price. Hiyo ni wakati nilibuy. So, excuse me, when I wanted to sell, the price was at 13 Kenya shillings. So you remember I bought them at 11.65 Kenya shillings, and now they are at 13 Kenya shillings. So I sold 250 of them, so half the quantity that I had bought. When I sold them, nilipata 3,257. That is the amount of money I withdrew from my bank. I'll do the math and insert here the profit that I made from selling the 250 shares at 13 bob, and I had bought earlier on 500 at 11.65. Still at the profit, I feel like we need to talk about taxes, because I got a lot of questions concerning taxes za shares ukisell, that is. So for these I inquired, hakuna taxes on the profits. They used to tax the income and capital gain, but these days they tax the dividends, the dividends instead of the capital gains. I hope I'm making sense. Sijaacha mtu nyuma. So ukiuza, you're not taxed, but once they're giving dividends, you'll be taxed. Withholding taxes. Last year I got dividends from EABL, I got dividends from Absa, I also got from COP. Did I get from COP? I'm not sure, but nakumbuka ni za EABL and they were really good. You remember I mentioned I had 100 shares, the 15,500 that I bought my first EABL shares. So from that, nilipata dividends ya 356. So ni kama each shareholder was getting 3.56 of each shares they own. Aki, I hope siwachanganyishi. I hope tuna move sambamba. I was imagining, what if I had like, right now, let me check. Kidogo. Like 3,000 shares za EABL. Ningekuwa na 3,000, just imagine how much I would have gotten in terms of dividends. Like that's a good amount of money. Yeah, but shares EABL are a bit pricey, but would highly recommend because their dividends are really, really good. Yeah, so that's the reason why I actually added more this year. So for my portfolio, I'll give my members the privilege of guiding them through my portfolio or showing them my portfolio to how I got to what I'm valued at this point. So if you're not a member, please do so by hitting the join button next to the subscribe button. That is how you join the ultimate case code ultimate. Last topic is how do you get enough money to buy large amount of shares. So I will fill you in on how I do it, and then you'll see if you can do the same or even better. And if you get a better way of doing it, please share with us. But how I do it is I save on my MMF ni poa when you're comparing it kwanza na saving kwa bank, but I feel like stocks ni better off than MMF. So how I do it is I stock up my money kwa my MMF. Like I have this MMF here stocks, so I stock up my money over there, and then ikifika 100 hivi, it's when I now look at the shares to buy. Wakati stocks ziko juu, say wakati Safaricom earlier this year, it was at I think 40. At that moment singeza afford like the shares. Yes, ningeza ku afford, but I knew they can drop, and they will drop wakati wa election. So what I did is I stocked up my money on MMF and hoping that it will drop. Like from the history, just learn a company's history, you'll see like how it tends to perform this certain time. So I knew it will drop. So what I did is stock up my money kwa MMF with the intentions of buying stocks zikifika this amount of money. So that's how I plan, and that's how I get like huge sums of money to invest or to buy stocks. But it's not to say that you can't like buy instantly wakati unajisikia. You can do so. You just get a good brokerage firm that you can work with like that, if that's how you intend to work. But as for me, I'd rather like buy at once in huge sums than kidogo kidogo. No, nitakanga ni buy all at once and then just wait until when I want to sell. But as I've said, I feel like I'm more of a value investor as opposed to a speculative, so I'm not intending to sell anytime soon. But I have this one goal. You guys, if you watch my vlogs, you know that big girl purchase that I want to buy myself. So that may cause me to sell the shares, but obviously you can't sell your shares when they are chini than below lazy buy. You can, but it doesn't make financial sense to do so. So I'm just waiting the end juice some more, and then I sell them and see if we can buy my big girl purchase. I think I've shared all that I wanted or intended to share. If you have any more questions, feel free to answer them. And I've said, please join my membership program so that I can guide you one-on-one in case you want that one-on-one guidance. But I hope you guys enjoyed and more so learned from this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel a lot. Share this with your friends, and also please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next one.